Because some of them
No, Elijah McClain. Let's get the Elijah McClain. Let's give it 9 minutes because that's all we have.
yeah,
left.
because the rest are pretty much dated. They're 2-3 weeks old now.
Yeah. So the Elijah McClain story is very sad. They said,
Very.
I know we might be late to the party, but I think the conversation still needs to be had because
Yep.
this young man was. They said he was. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to say he was an introvert. Some people want to say he was on a spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying he was an introvert,
Mm-hmm.
and he was violently arrested.
Yeah.
And killed and injected with ketamine.
Yep. For someone like 5 times his body.
Exactly.
He became brain dead and died.
Exactly. So
in August of last year. That's also important.
And the fact that this story is only getting light now,
mm-hmm.
there's serious corruption that's going on, right?
Very. And I think just even like for me, watching that video, like I that was the one I ended up watching because I didn't have to see anything. And I just heard him. And even before I even watched that video, I saw the comic strips of like everything he said before it happened and blah blah blah. And like literally I started crying when I saw it. Like I was like, what the fuck? Like, because it was just so sad. Like he's like, I didn't even do nothing wrong. And you know what? But on top of that, there's another conversation to have, which it doesn't matter if people like George Floyd like did something bad, quote unquote bad, or someone like Eric Garner or like Trayvon Martin or something, regardless, because like we've said before, there are white people such as that guy who did the bless you, sorry.
Bless you.
Thanks. Who did the church shooting and killed 9 people who got peacefully arrested and literally committed murder. So regardless of what someone did, like a life is still a life. A black life is still a human life. So it doesn't deserve to be taken. But I think what really hit home with a lot of people was just like, I guess the things he was saying when he was being arrested. Like, I don't have a gun. I'm not into that stuff. I'm an introvert. I'm just different. Like when he kept saying, I'm just different, I think that's what really hit me. I was just like, this poor guy thinks that something is wrong with him as a human being to be arrested and killed like this. And he was literally only 23. A year younger than me. They're fucked.
His life was taken.
Yeah. And all they did was transfer those officers to another place in Colorado instead of keeping them there to get backlash for it. I just like this one.
Also,
really
the what are the medical people for the
paramedics?
Yeah.
What did they do? Sorry, I don't.
I mean, my fault. Just the fact that the fact that they put ketamine inside this young man's body. What for? What reason?
To tranquilize and calm him down when he was obviously very calm. He's a scrawny boy.
Yeah.
Like, what was he going to do? The poor guy was allergic to the cold, walking with a ski mask and dancing. And that's what got someone scared.
My friend Beach Boy, he says that in Florida, it's very common for someone just to have a ski mask on. That's what Florida people do. They just do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see people getting. I have yet to see a story come out of Florida, South Florida especially, of anyone being robbed or being shot by police because they just had a ski mask on.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get cold over there too, so just think about that.
Yeah.
So the fact, I mean, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it. Mm-hmm. To stun them, they could have just used a
taser.
A taser. Although taser would have been unnecessary most times. A lot of people like to say some bad things about tasers. They could have used a taser, man. Mm-hmm. They could have used batons, man. You know what I mean? Didn't have to inject this man with ketamine.
Yeah, and literally made him be brain dead. Regardless, I don't think batons would have. I don't think none of it.
Nothing.
Yeah, none of it's warranted. I get what you're saying. None of it's warranted, but I see what you're saying. Like an alternative to fucking. Why was ketamine the first thing you thought of? Was this something you wanted to test to know that it could kill one black person? So now, great, we know this works, and it's not us shooting them, so we can get away with more and more of this. And look how long it took for it to come out. I feel like that could have been their thought process behind it, which is even more fucked up now that I'm saying this out loud, because this just clicked in my head.
To be honest, that doesn't even seem like practice. That doesn't seem like common practice.
No, it doesn't. Like, it's the most random thing. Where are you coming with ketamine from? Like, are you going to a farm and getting it? I don't understand. It's just so, like, yeah, like, that one was really, really, really just, like, I can't even imagine. I don't even want to imagine what it was like for him in those like moments, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And seeing like the pictures and stuff of him playing the violin for the cats and all that stuff, like just such a sweet innocent soul. And like I said again, like regardless of whether or not he did do something quote unquote bad before this, like it's still a black life is still a human life, so it doesn't matter what you do, your life is still important and it still matters and you should still be here. But I think this one hit home because of him saying he's different, and he was afraid that because of who he was, he didn't know why he was being attacked like this.
Mm-hmm.
So like literally it's just crazy to think if he was a different skin color, like that would have, like all it took was for him to be seen on the outside, not for what he was on the inside. And if he was a different skin color, it wouldn't have happened.
They just jumped straight to conclusions, and
Yeah.
they destroyed this man's civil rights.
Mm-hmm.
They destroyed this man's family because they have to grieve in a way where they still haven't yet to see some justice.
Yep.
It's just an overall terrible thing because now that, especially right now in the wake of a lot of civil unrest, you know, people looking at the police officers and the government as their enemies, especially for the black community, especially. This is one of those type of blows that even heighten the fact that George Floyd's murder was a murder,
Yeah.
and a senseless one, because it only reinforces the fact that this happened, that George Floyd murder happened this year, and this young man had his life taken by police in such a brutal way
11 months ago.
Exactly. So people, it's hard to say that the police are. It's hard to say certain thing about the police when you see, you know, actions like this not only happen in one state but happen in multiple states as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it just seems like it's a very consistent, you know, that
Yeah.
people have justified to say something like that. So
I really do hope that by the time I have kids, or by the time that I have grandkids, that something has changed within the system. That's what I hope for. At the very minimum, by the time I have grandkids, because like it's actually insane how this year has like I know it's been happening for a long time, but I think because we're all on quarantine and now it's being brought to the like literally nobody else has anything else, an excuse to focus on anything else, because this is the main issue at hand right now. And I think just like it's just insane like how out of hand it's been, and how it's really just brought to light a lot of other issues within the police system and the system overall. So yeah,
exactly.
I hope for.
It's July. It's the 7th month into the year. I look at this as I'm starting to see the sun's rise, and I feel like a lot of things are going in positive direction. So I'm gonna say optimistic about that, you know, but still keep a reminder that, you know, there's a lot of darkness in the past, but
Yeah,
I like to move forward with like more optimism and, you know, shine a light on, you know, things that could be changed. So that's how I'm going to keep on going. I hope this young man's family gets justice, and I hope, you know, those officers lose their jobs and positions, because if there something like that should just never be
honestly I
possible.
wish death on all these officers. Like
Shit.
I remember I once said an eye for an eye. I agree with it. I
An
wish
eye
that
for an eye makes the world go blind. No.
I don't care. I think these people deserve death, or they deserve to suffer very, very slow and painful death. We should just kill them all the way that they've been people, in my opinion.
Nina talking greasy now.
People can call me evil for that. I don't care. Like, you literally took a life. Cool. Your turn for you wanted to put their families through that. Fine. It's your turn. Like, if it was up to me, if I was the president, oh man, that'd be it. Like, it'd be game over. Like, yeah.
Okay.